Yo, 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 Big Kish back up in here. Dr. Umar Johnson just fired shots at none other than Mr. Petty himself. Dr. Umar Johnson wants smoke with 50 Cent, and this happens. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. I will be leaving a link in the description. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. This is going to be a good one. Y'all are not going to want to click off this video. Y'all know I'm like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
Everybody is still talking about 50 Cent's new documentary, The Reckoning, in which he's exposing in a 4-part series on Netflix everything wrong with Sean Diddy Combs, aka also now known as P. Diddy.
He's right, you know.
And one of those people that responded to this was Dr. Umar Johnson. To be fair enough, he did not go on his social media and just talk about it. But he was asked about it on a live stream, and he had this to say.
I saw the Diddy documentary. Here's what I'm going to say about the Diddy documentary. And I have no problem with black people holding black people accountable.
Shout out to your boy. That's a streamer. He from Philly.
I'm having a problem with black people needing to expose black people that in-depthly.
Yeah.
But you never expose white people who do things to black people. The Roman Catholic Church,
I believe that.
has taken advantage of way more children than R. Kelly allegedly did.
Right.
Are you following me?
I'm following you.
Jeffrey Epstein has taken advantage of way more women than Sean Combs allegedly did. But where is the documentary on Epstein by black people?
Now, Dr. Umar Johnson says,
hey, he got a valid point, and I agree with him. I totally agree with him. This is why I say the whole game is rigged. It's rigged. Because the thing is that I'm going to go into it later.
Something that's very, very powerful. He says, hey, I understand what 50 Cent is doing. And this is not me being against accountability. But why is it that when blacks do something, it's against other blacks? It's exposing other people in our community. Why don't the blacks in the community go out and expose other groups? Why do you challenge those in the community? And that's important for us to understand, because he isn't the first person to say this.
I'm like, dude, why is 50 Cent doing this? I ain't gonna lie, like, what's the motive here?
A lot of people don't understand why 50 Cent is doing this, and they want to know what is the motivation of this. So I decided to do some investigation. Dr. Umar Johnson, in his own right, is a very big figure, especially in the Pan-African community. He tours all over the country and even the world. He's in Europe, he's in Africa, and he is a voice of reason, especially to a lot of the intellectual or social framework of what is known as Pan-Africanism. He speaks not only on issues affecting Black Americans, but blacks as a whole.
I'm going to just go ahead, because it seemed like it's taking him a little bit to get to the point. I'm going to go ahead and say what I was going to say so I don't forget. What I notice is that, okay, YouTube is a business. Entertainment is a business. What I notice is that these platforms, we don't own these platforms. And what happens is when we try to expose other people that's outside of our people, it typically don't get a reach. It don't get pushed out. But when we expose the evil amongst ourselves, that get pushed out. You got to understand, YouTube is a business. Podcasting is a business. This sector, this entertainment thing, it's a business as well. So it's like, if you expose it, if you go back and look at all the white people I expose for the evils that they do, it don't get a push. It's not getting pushed out. So it's like who's listening to it? Who's going to listen to it for me to do that video? It needs to be listened to. I want our people to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know, but I can't say the same thing for 50 Cent. I believe he want Diddy up out of there because he has some type of hatred for him, as well as exposing his evil and the things that he done. You know what I mean? But it's different. It's nuanced. You know what I mean? It's nuanced. But I agree with what Dr. Umar Johnson is saying.
And to be honest, he's brilliant. I can't take anything away from him as an intellectual. But the issue with Dr. Umar Johnson is that he, as an individual, does not align with what he preaches. And this is where the comparisons get to be a little bit muddy, because Dr. Umar Johnson says one thing and does another. In America, we call somebody whose speech matches up with their actions walking the walk. In Africa, they call that person walking the talk. And Dr. Umar Johnson is none of them. Woo! We could go over all of the problems of Dr. Umar Johnson, his school, sex scandals, dealing with women.
Where's the school?
But we will be here all day long, and I'm not going to do that. But I will talk about this whole idea of the school that he had, or that he still has in Delaware. Obviously, he allegedly lost the deed to the school, or the ability to have the school at a point, and the school has never come to life. There was an issue where Dr. Umar Johnson said that, well, there was a problem with his bank.
So then I called the bank, and the bank told me that my personal account, as well as the independent Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy account, have both been frozen. Both bank accounts have been frozen. Both bank accounts have been frozen. And I was told that there is an investigation into my personal account as well as the school account.
And when the issue happened with the bank, he said this.
So the Prince of Pan-Africanism, for the first time in my life, is without any digital currency. So for my loyal supporters out there, if you can spare a few dollars,
Dang!
so I can take care of.
This don't look right. This don't look right. You were somebody you was on the Breakfast Club. He said digital currency. He didn't say regular currency. He probably got a wad full of money in his pocket.
Queen Mother Ifa Tunde and myself until my bank account is frozen or canceled so I can get my money back and open up a new account. Please hit my Apple Pay or hit my PayPal.
So the people who were donating the money, well, we don't really know what happened to the money because the bank has frozen it. I may or may not ever get the money back. But what you can do is you can send the money to me on PayPal. It's interesting because PayPal, usually you have to transfer it to a bank. Damn. Now, this really pissed a lot of people off.
You need to be ashamed of yourself. Not only did you scam all of those people out of their money for your funky little school, but now you're trying to scam women out of their money.
That was a sister who was upset with Dr. Umar Johnson because he was charging black women.
I just noticed that. Why did he say queens? Why he didn't say brothers? Y'all come together and y'all help me get me a little bread. They got my shit frozen. He said, y'all queens help me. God damn.
Sister who was upset with Dr. Umar Johnson because he was charging black women $500 for a date at one point.
I remember that.
Of course, you give him the money and then he pays for the date. So let's say, for example, the date's like $60. He leaves with $440. But then DJ Academics would respond to it.
It seems like Dr. Umar is trying to set up for him to say, yo, they stole the money, bro. People are a little bit already skeptical about you always asking for money. The worst thing to do is now tell them that the money that they may have sent you or your personal money is compromised, because it feels like you're laying a groundwork for saying, when people say, yo, what happened to the bread? You're like, well, I did tell you is trying to steal it. You've been asking for donations and people look at you as a highly esteemed member of society. This is the perception of you.
So people are just starting to get skeptical. Then you had somebody in the community who just told it like it was.
But can you find one example where he takes any ownership of anything? As he's explaining how he wrote an email and he heard from the lady, then he didn't hear from the lady, and then he sent a letter, or he got a letter, and then he didn't respond to the email, but then suddenly 5 months later, he finds out that they're going to auction off the buildings. Not once in there did he take any ownership.
Yeah, that's true. True leadership admits when they're wrong. And what happens is that people respect that because it's letting them know that, look, I'm human as well. You know what I'm saying? I fuck up too, you know, but what the brother is saying is that you can't find any example of Dr. Umar Johnson taking accountability for his actions or what he did or what he did not pay.
Never, because that's what narcissists do. They are never to blame for things that don't go well. It's always them, someone else. It's the same thing with the orange guy. It's never any ownership. It's never any personal responsibility.
Orange guy, I know.
Dr. Umar Johnson has no ownership, no accountability of anything that he does. Now, what does this have to do with Dr. Umar Johnson criticizing 50 Cent? Well, it's simple. Dr. Umar Johnson does not care about Diddy. Dr. Umar Johnson may or may not like Diddy. That's not important. But the framework is important. The institutions that Dr. Umar Johnson wants to attack is meritocracy, honesty, transparency. Okay? Because if you can operate in ambiguity or opacity or in the fog, well, that's what he'll do. And that's where Dr. Umar Johnson is the greatest. I did a video on my Kanganda YouTube channel called The Rise of the Pan-African Pookies. And the reason why a lot of black people, especially a lot of people in the conscious community, talk about going back to Africa, reuniting with the continent, is because it's one of the best places where you can scam. I'm here on the continent. I love it here, but I'd be lying if I told you that we don't have a problem with Black American scammers or Hebrew Israelite scammers, or it doesn't matter. It's a lot of people that are in certain cliques that scam. YouTubers, land.
For an example, the guy, y'all remember the guy Hush Puppy? I believe he's still locked up. You got to look at, he didn't just do everything. He didn't come from doing all that scamming by himself. Like, you got a lot of people, they call over here, you know, especially them older folks. Them older folks that think they, you know what I'm saying? Like, they be getting them. They be getting them out of all their little money and all of that.
Deals. And so when these scams happen, well, they ask the community for this money. Very similar to Dr. Umar Johnson. And once this happens, then the argument is, well, you don't ask them white folk for their money.
What?
I mean, white supremacy been holding you down for all these years and taking from you, but you ain't got nothing to say about the white man. And that's what unaccountability does. It takes the accountability off of Diddy, because Diddy was in the black community. 50 Cent made a video about Diddy, and you're saying, well, don't make the video about Diddy. Make it about somebody else. Well, if you make it about somebody else, then what happens is the people in your community get to run wild. And the reason why black people don't really make those kind of hit pieces on other people like Epstein, because we never encountered Epstein. He's done nothing in our community that we can verify. And we shouldn't. The best way to grow as a community is to go after the people who are defrauding you. The black pastors, criminals, Crips. I mean, I grew up in Del Paso Heights, and we had drug dealers. We had.
I'm going to say we need to keep it a balance, because our own people, we not the only ones that's doing something to us. You got other. I mean, just look at all these different type of systems that they got set up. We didn't set up these systems. You know what I'm saying? So I will say, even though I agree with O'Shea, you know what I'm saying, that's a good way for our people to start rising. We also need to keep a balance when exposing the evil. Just evil needs to be exposed, period. You know what I'm saying? Not just with us, with everybody. It needs to be a balance. You know what I'm saying? Don't just constantly just expose our people. expose what's going on with other people as well and what they doing to us as well. But yeah, it's a we just got to keep a balance.
All kind of stuff going on, all right? And it made it unsafe. When somebody broke into my house, and we kind of had an idea who did it. Unfortunately, it was not Jeffrey Epstein.
Got him!
It was somebody that lived in our community. In one case, it was a guy who lived right behind us, and thankfully we had insurance. But then if we were to tell on that person and hold that person accountable to the law, then obviously we're snitching. We trying to bring another black person down. And so if all blacks adopt that, then blacks like Dr. Umar Johnson, they never have to be accountable for anything. They never have to deliver on what they promise, right? Because you will never focus on whatever he's doing, which is dealing with women, not delivering on promises, taking people's money. He will be able to go scot-free. And scammers want you to go scot-free. Because Dr. Umar Johnson's fear is that somebody is going to hold him accountable in the same way that 50 Cent is holding Diddy accountable. So now we got...
And people like that, that's their scapegoat. Oh, well, the white man, you don't ask the white man, like if somebody was to question people like Dr. Umar Johnson, their reply would be, well, do you ask the white man this? Do you do this about the white man? And that's a scapegoat for them. But, yeah, I agree with what O'Shea Duke Jackson saying. And I also agree what Dr. Umar Johnson is saying. You could pick from both. And what you end up with is you must keep a balance. Our people need to be held accountable for their wrongdoing as well as everybody else that's doing our people wrong.
To attack the institution of accountability. So all people who want to run reckless got to come out and say 50 Cent is a sellout. 50 Cent is a raccoon. 50 Cent ain't focusing his efforts on nobody else. And the reason why they're saying that is because if somebody comes after them and focuses their attitude on them, then what happens is that accountability will be so strong that it's going to destroy their career. And
hey, yo, y'all think this is Steve Harvey right here? Y'all think this joint is thick? Y'all think this is Steve Harvey right here? The joint look like a microphone sponge. This should look like this right here.
have to come to terms with the damage and all of the empty promises to the black community. So let me tell the black community something that they all need to hear, which is, listen, let's stop focusing our effort on each other, because ain't nothing wrong with us. Let's focus it on the white man. This is no different from the preachers. If you look at somebody like Jamal Harrison Bryant, if you look at the strategies of a lot of pastors in the church, you don't hear pastors preaching hell anymore like they used to preach it in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, stuff like that. Hardcore sins, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not fornicate, LGBTQ, preaching against that in the church. They don't do that anymore. They just preach about, prosperity gospel. This is what you're going to get. God's going to give you all this money. And that's easier to do than hold people accountable to the sins they're making.
Right.
Because if Pastor Brian or any pastor gets up in the pulpit and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, preach accountability, well, then that means you technically can hold him accountable. So pastors who are doing corrupt stuff, they don't want you to hold them accountable. And the way they do that is by not holding you accountable. Listen, I don't want you in my business.
That's why the scriptures say, trust no man. Don't trust no man. Don't be esteeming these people as some type of God or something like that. You don't do that. Of course you have leaders, but leaders on earth, they're humans as well. They're battling their flesh as well. But you don't hold nobody up to like God or something. Dude, you don't worship men.
Talking about all the cheeks that I'm clapping, or for some of these pastors, they getting clapped themselves. Woo! So as long as y'all giving money, look, I ain't got no problem with it.
But yeah, all I got to say, it looked like that was it on that. All I got to say is that you must keep a balance when holding everybody accountable and just work on yourself. That's why I always tell people, look, it's about working on yourself. That's what it's about. And it takes years, because you got to look at what some of us was raised like. Look what we're born in. You know, you got to work on yourself. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about the situation, man. Dr. Umar Johnson fired shots at 50 Cent. Like, why you picking on Diddy? I guess Dr. Umar Johnson wanted him a little clout. You know, people gonna talk about it. Whatever he say, people gonna talk about it. And he went on the streamer guy. I forgot his name. But yeah, that guy, he's from Philly as well. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about the situation. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe as well. Big Kish signing out. I'm going, y'all.